kids, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday here at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook and other places when I think about it. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They're international. I've gotten fantastic feedback from people using them. They like their therapist. That's awesome. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping. I continue to be hit by bots. I continue to be hit by trolls. And here's how you know, and here's the thing. Narcissistic stalkers will do this little trick when they try to intimidate somebody. They will take over people's accounts. So, for example, an account that hasn't been used in 5 years probably doesn't have that strong of a password. So they'll just hack into the account and take it over. So most of these bots and most of these nasty little comments are either brand new, things that have not been around for like more than a day or two, or they belonged to somebody. There is one subscriber. They haven't been posting or anything in 5 years. They've been hacked into and taken over. So it speaks volumes to me that they're worried enough that I'm educating people on what narcissistic abuse looks like and calling out that we are in a narcissistic abusive relationship with Donald Trump. Absolutely. He is a malignant narcissist. 27 psychiatrists have said so prior to me in 2017 with the book called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. If you want to see how a narcissist acts and how a narcissist abuse, there's your example right there in real time. So no, I'm not going to stop talking about it. And your threats mean nothing. Either do what you say you're going to do or shut the hell up. So, they were like, we're going to come for your license. Great, do it. I invite you. Go ahead. Go ahead. So, and if and when somebody does try to do that, I will sue you into the Stone Age, and don't think I won't. And you won't get anywhere. I'm not your therapist. I'm not anyone's therapist on here. I am a public figure. I have a show and I will speak about whatever the bleep I want to speak about. You don't like it? Don't freaking listen. How immature are you that you have to sit there and threaten me? Wow. Good luck with that. All right. So there is that. And again, I don't put up with terrorists. I don't put up with terrorists. They do not intimidate me. I will not put up with them, and I will absolutely go after them tooth and nail if they try to attack me or my family or my friends. So yeah, and I've got friends in the legal department, so don't even. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so there's that a little bit of housekeeping. If you are being stalked, look to see who the stalker is, if they are on YouTube or if they're on Facebook, how old that account is. If it's an account that doesn't have posts, that they're long time no posting, that means somebody's hacked into the account and is using that to try to hide their identity, which again, coward, absolute coward. You have something to say to me, use your real name. There you go. It's kind of like Steve Bannon going, oh, well, if the Democrats come into power, a lot of us in this room, and myself included, are going to go to jail. Gee, I wonder why. Are you doing something illegal? Because normal, healthy people don't have the threat of jail if they're not doing something illegal. There that is. Okay. All right. My pronoun is try me. Love it. Yeah, okay. And so here's another little current event thing that I think needs to be talked about. So the big thing that I'm being told is, how dare you? How dare you talk about narcissism? How dare you talk about politics? How dare you talk about X, Y, and Z? Here's the deal. Here are things we need to talk about: religion, politics, menopause, female issues, pregnancy, abortion, sex in general. You know why? Because we haven't talked about it. And because we haven't talked about it, there are politicians out there that literally do not know how the female body works. They literally think that if we are raped and it's okay somehow that, the body will naturally get rid of that embryo. No, that does not work that way. Female bodies get pregnant from rape. That's one of the ways that dictatorships have put into submission their opposing people is by raping the female population. It just, oh God, the stupidity and the lack of education is just beyond me. Basic anatomy. Go study basic anatomy. This is stuff we learned in high school. Or were you not paying attention? So anyway, yes, as a postmenopausal woman, my pronoun is try me. I agree. I agree 100%. And I'm tired of being told to sit down and shut up. I'm not going to. Screw you. I'm not going to. I am going to talk about what needs to be talked about. We are being abused. We are in the longest shutdown. Here we go into current events. Longest shutdown since the first longest shutdown, which was in Trump's first term. And 2 courts now have demanded that he fund the SNAP program. He is fighting that order. Wonder why. Why is he so desperate to not fund it? Where are the funds? I am writing my senators after I get out of here. John and I are going to sit down. We're going to write senators and we're going to demand a forensic accounting. Where are the funds? Why is SNAP not being funded when there's 2 judges demanding that it be funded? And why is Trump fighting so hard to starve the American people? Children are the ones that are suffering. So don't you sit there and tell me how much you love the children if you're okay with this fat, narcissistic piece of crap starving children. I'm not okay with that. John and I just donated a whole bunch of food to the City of Hope food bank here in Arizona. So if you can, if you can donate, if you're able financially, please do. And they have a wish list. If you go on to the City of Hope website, they have a wish list of things that they need. So, personal items, shampoo, soap, socks, razor blades to shave, things like that. Things you wouldn't normally think of. Of course, food for, the kiddos and everything. So we went to Costco, we filled up a basket to the brim and sent it off. So if you can do that, if you can't, volunteer, help, do something. I'm getting really sick and tired of these people telling me how goody they are, and they're not doing you know what I'm saying? So anyway, there is that. And yes, ICE is getting paid. The air traffic controllers are not getting paid. I don't think TSA is getting paid. So they are canceling 10% of the flights. And I'm sitting here going, have we marched into backwards, upside down, what the frick land? Because it's like, okay, you're canceling all the flights. I can't imagine that the airlines would be okay with it. Although the United came out and was like, oh, I'm okay with this, which is why I'm boycotting United. They'll never get my business again. So, it's just, I just, things that make me go, what the actual where's my F-bombs? Where are my F-bombs? That. So anyway, that is that. I can't even. A president is supposed to lead. A president who is healthy takes care of the people. Somebody who claims to be a Christian takes care of those who are poor and suffering and in need. That is what you're supposed to do. So I don't want to hear somebody who's got a mouthful of verses but a heart full of hate. There's the door. Don't let the screen door hit you in the ass on the way out. Bye-bye. Not interested. So anyway, I'm so angry right now because, again, who hurts? Children. Children hurt. Elderly hurt. I'm hearing story after story of people with kids that are like, okay, how do we feed our children? I'm going to have to cut down on my food in order to feed my kids. Elderly, I don't have enough money to get food. Elderly, you hear stories all the time of the elderly doing things like eating cat food because it was cheaper at one point. That's not okay. We are the world's richest country. We are we used to be, the world's most advanced country. There is no excuse. And here's the other thing I'd like to stick in your pipe and have you smoke it. Where's all that money that Doge supposedly saved? Oh, we cut trillions. I want a forensic accounting of everything. Where is that money? Where the bleep where's my other F bomb? Where the is the other money? Where is it? Where is it? I want to know. I want to know where it's going. And I think everyone here should write your senator and demand to know where that trillions of dollars that Doge supposedly cut is, and where are the SNAP fundings, because I can guarantee you they're probably lining somebody's pocket. Good God, what a time to be alive. Anyway, so now that I'm done ranting, hi. So we're going to talk about cognitive dissonance. So what I've heard from people recently is, oh my God, my family, my friend, is in an abusive relationship and I don't know how to get them out. Well, it's going to be very difficult and you may not be able to do it. So all you can do is educate, but we're going to talk about how we got there. How do people get stuck in the mind trap of cognitive dissonance? So what is cognitive dissonance? Cognitive dissonance is when incoming information does not match what we've been told. There are two conflicting thoughts that don't match, and it causes an extreme amount of discomfort, otherwise known as the fog. So targets of abuse, excuse me, I got the hiccups. Targets of abuse get told misinformation by the abuser all the time. And then when family and friends come in and try to disabuse them, that really is a word, disabuse them of this not true thought, their brains do this like, but no, this is true. This is what I've been told. Now, how do you get from healthy, normal person to the fog? Here's what it is. It's narcissistic abuse. What abusers do is literal brain washing. So that includes the lying and the repeating of the lies, constantly repeating the lie, because what it does is it normalizes it. And if the narcissist is the only source of information, there's no other outside information, then you're going to believe them. So that is why narcissists also isolate their target of abuse so that they can be the only source of information. And that information is misinformation. It's lies. So they lie and they repeat the 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 lie. And they keep saying the same lie over and over and over again because in their brain, it's true. If I just say it enough times, it'll be true. Magic thinking. And the abused will believe it. They'll start to believe it. It's brainwashing. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is lying. Gaslighting is, I never did that. I never said that. That never happened, when in fact it did. It causes the target of abuse to question their own knowingness, to question their certainty. That is what abusers want to take away, is your sense of certainty. They want you to have self-doubt because it makes it so much easier to stick that, egg beater into your brain and just go to town. So they take away your sense of certainty because then they make you go, did that really happen? Did I really hear it that way? Wait a minute. Am I wrong? That's what they're doing. So now we've got this lack of certainty. So essentially, in order to break somebody down, you have to break down their self. And it's so easy to do if you're a malignant narcissist. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they gaslight, and they devalue you. Constantly negatively contrasting you to somebody else, constantly putting you down, little tiny hit and run screw yous. That's what they do. And that erodes your sense of self because you love this person. They presented one way during the love bombing phase. That's the illusion you fell in love with. And then they start doing these horrible things. And you're just like, but I love you. But what? And then we start twisting ourselves into a pretzel to try to get back to that love bombing phase, which never really happens, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we get trained to accept narcissistic behavior from our family of origin, especially if they did not they were not healthy, they did not help us build a good, healthy self-esteem, etc. If there was a lot of codependency going on, because what does the narcissist do? You're responsible for whether I'm happy or not. You're responsible for, my mood. You're responsible for how I'm feeling, that kind of thing. And so we start believing that. So there's a power differential. So it's like the narcissist is, in control. And then there's here's the target of abuse constantly being put down. So it erodes your self-esteem. People with good self-esteem, like rock solid self-esteem, oh, we do not put up with that. Hail to the no. We do not put up with terrorists. I don't negotiate with them. Oh, and that's the other thing. As we get notified, as soon as there's anything that comes on, both John and I get notifications, and we'll give it a quick look over. I mean, it's fine to disagree. That's okay. Be respectful. But if they start threatening or they start, spouting a bunch of BS, it's like, nope, delete. Go get your own channel. So yeah, it's very bizarre. They're very much into intimidation. So, okay. So I wanted to just go over quickly the manipulation. They manipulate, they pretend to be one way, but they really are another way. And it's hard to see. And here's the thing I want you to understand: the cognitive dissonance is so strong because when they first present to us, they're everything we wanted. Smart, funny, charming, humor, the whole thing, the whole package, right? But then over time, the mask starts slipping and this other horrible person comes to light. And what we do is go, no, 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 I'm in love with, no, they've got to be in there. No, that has to be. So that's cognitive dissonance, guys. Incoming information is not matching what you want to believe or what you were told in the beginning. So that's what we all do. And we all give them the benefit of the doubt because healthy, normal people don't seek to destroy other people. Okay. So, but a narcissist does. A narcissist cannot stand that somebody's happy and they'll seek to destroy them. They'll seek to destroy what makes them happy. Absolutely. So here comes the narcissist and all of a sudden they're attacking and they're putting you down and you're going, what? But no, I'm in love with the good person. Well, the good person is an illusion. That causes cognitive dissonance because then we start doing the magic thinking of, okay, well, if I can just make them happy. Oh, honey, you cannot make them happy. There is no happiness in there. They don't know what happiness is. They really, truly don't understand what happiness is. For a narcissist, the world is not enough. They could bankrupt everything and take everything, and it won't be enough because they'll still be miserable. So they don't know what real emotions are. They have emotions, but they do not have the same emotions that you and I have. They do not. And they get angry when they see somebody having a genuine emotion, whether that emotion is anger or sadness or happy or whatever. If it's genuine, oh, that's going to piss them off like nobody's business. Narcissists are the cult of one. They are a cult leader. They are. All narcissists, because they demand absolute fealty, absolute loyalty, absolute devotion, no matter what they do to you. And if we come from a family of origin that trained us to be codependent, so I need everybody to be okay. I'm going to prop everybody up. I need to fix everybody. I need to fix this. I need to make sure they get into heaven. No, it's not your job. That is cognitive dissonance. It is their own personal responsibility. That is not your job. But we've been trained to take on the responsibility. We are overly responsible. The narcissist lacks responsibility. We are overly responsible. So it is the perfect storm. So the cognitive dissonance is that fog that, wait, no, what? How does this happen? Wait, no, I'm in love with it. Well, you're in love with the illusion. They do emotional blackmail, threats, anger, warnings, intimidation, and punishment. They provoke doubt. That provokes doubt. You feel fear, obligation, or guilt, sometimes referred to as the fog. Fear, obligation, guilt. That is cognitive dissonance. So they instill fear. I'm going to come after your license. Great, do it. I don't have any fear about that, buddy. Obligation. You owe me. I owe you jack diddly squat. That's what they do. There's an old song from the 80s that I absolutely hate. It's called Don't You Want Me Baby? You were working in a restaurant as a cocktail girl and I found you and I made you and I can put you back there too. That's a narcissistic threat. I hear that song and I start screaming at the radio. Seriously. So, yeah, you owe me. I did this for you and you're who you are because of me. You owe me. That is bull tinky. So that is obligation. Guilt. Oh, you're hurting me so much. So here's the crazy thing. They will flip the script. They will hurt you. They will flip the script and now they're the victim. I'm the victim here. Oh my God. I hate it when I see narcissists do that. I'm just like, oh, do the slap therapy for everybody. I'm like, oh my God. So they'll flip the script. They'll make you feel guilty. So for example, you leave a narcissist and you're done. We're getting divorced, the whole thing. They will do all of the manipulations. And one of their manipulations is the guilt. They'll try the fear, they'll try the intimidation, usually after they've tried the guilt and the obligation. But with guilt, it's like, oh, but we've been together for so long. Oh, baby, I'll change. Oh, baby, I'll go to rehab. Oh, baby, I'll get therapy. Oh, baby, they do all of that. Or don't you remember all the good times? They do that too. They would take a walk down memory lane trying to get you to feel guilty for leaving them. But here's the deal. They've had plenty of opportunity to change. They've had plenty of opportunity to go to rehab. They've had plenty of opportunity to get a therapist. They've refused. Or if they do get a therapist, they go 3 times and then they quit. Or then they lie about it. Oh, well, my therapist said there's nothing wrong with me. Bull tinky. Oh, sorry, Gertrude. I moved and she was like, what are you doing? Anyway, so yeah, they're just fear, obligation, guilt. That is all cognitive dissonance because they're trying to manipulate you. They're trying to control you. And that is why it is so difficult to break that because it's all connected to our family of origin. If we had a family of origin that was manipulative, that was abusive, that was disordered, that was, either malignant narcissist or malignant borderline, boy, howdy, it's the perfect storm. And it's really getting into a good trauma therapist to break that cognitive dissonance, to allow the new information to come in, to make room for the new information to come in so that you can see clearly. So, for example, I'll just give you a minor example of that. My mom lied a lot. She did. And I still unclear whether she was lying to manipulate or whether she really believed what she lied about. But she told me that my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, died of old age cancer. Right. So I remember being a young adult going into my doctor and, filling out the form and he, was asking me questions. I said, oh, well, my grandmother had leukemia, but mom said it was old age leukemia. And he looked at me and he's like, there is no such thing as old age leukemia. And I went, oh, interesting. Okay. And I felt embarrassed because, I totally believed what my mom said and I repeated it, but I was fortunately cognizant enough to go, oh, incoming information does not match what I have been told. Let me go investigate. And then, of course, I researched leukemia and I was like, oh, yeah, the doctor's right. My mom lied to me. Wow. Just one in a long line, so that's a little bit of cognitive dissonance. So, anyway, yeah. So it's like, but in my case, I had the space to go, oh, let me go investigate this. The curiosity is really what it was, is like, what is this? What is this all about? And then realizing she lied. So, but when you're in it, when you're in the middle of the fog, when you're in with the abuser and they're right there, it is so hard to get the space because it's not safe. Think about it. If you challenge what the abuser says, what happens? Oh, nothing good. You know what I'm saying? But me, I had moved away. I wasn't around her. And I had the ability to get curious and go, oh, what is this? What? Oh, mom lied. Isn't that interesting? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, new information. Need to let that in. So that's why it's so difficult to get cult members out of a cult, because if they're still with the abuser, that abuser is undoing everything you're trying to tell them, everything you're trying to help them with. Absolutely. And that cult can be a cult of one. Absolutely. Okay. Going back to gaslighting, intentionally making you distrust your perceptions of reality, eroding your self esteem, competition, one upping you, always having to be on top. So there's a power dynamic. They cheat. Negative contrasting, putting you down, comparing you to somebody else, letting you know that, oh, they may leave you for someone else. You better you better toe the line, that kind of thing. Sabotage, disruptive interference of your endeavors or relationships for the purpose of revenge or personal advantage, or to isolate you so they can control you better. Exploitation and objectification, taking advantage of you for personal ends without regards to your feelings or needs. So this is when a narcissist makes you be the sole breadwinner, and they don't work, and they don't contribute, they don't clean the house, they don't help, they don't nothing, not a thing. So that's what contributes to the cognitive dissonance. We told something over and over again. Okay, so I think we get how this, violence, that's the fear, financial abuse, isolation. Okay. So that is how cognitive dissonance gets going. Couple that with being raised by narcissists or disordered people. So this article from Psychology Today by Stephen Hassan, PhD, how people get brainwashed without realizing it. It doesn't always look dramatic. It's subtle tactics. It can be as subtle as just, lying over and over and over again. That's one way that they brainwash. Creating distance, keeping you away from any other information. Behavior control, they control everything you do. Information control, they control the flow of free, accurate information. They don't allow you to get other perspectives. Thought controls, they don't like you to think thoughts that they don't want you to think. They'll make you wrong for it. Emotional control, fear, guilt, obligation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So really, it takes getting away from the abuser in order for there to be enough space to start questioning, to get curious about what you've been told. So there's a lot of abusive relations, and all of the abusive relationships, whether they're a cult like Jim Jones, or whether it's a cult of one, or whether it's the president of the United States, the threat is there that you will be punished if you question. That's not normal. That is not normal. A healthy leadership invites questioning. It invites a dialogue. It invites, a healthy relationship is a back and forth. It's not, I am the end all and be all of everything, and how dare you little, nothing, even question that. No, that is not a healthy relationship. So narcissists create this atmosphere of absolute fear, absolute, no self-esteem, no self-worth, no space to ask questions. They don't want you to question, and they want you to rely on them as the sole source of literally everything, and it's weird because abusers do one of two things. To financially abuse, they either don't work at all, or they work and you don't, and you have no access to their money. So it keeps you in a state of not being able to leave. It's the weirdest thing. It's again, it's that black and white thinking. It's like all, nothing, good, bad, black, white. So that is something to watch out for. Okay. So I think I went over the brainwashing. Oh, no, people. Oh, Tom, I will call you back. I will call you back. Tomas, I will call you back. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so the definitive guide to helping people trapped in a cult. Okay, so learning how to help friends and family influenced by harmful cults. So basically, the cognitive dissonance is what keeps us trapped. It keeps us stuck in this mind loop of, but they told me, but they're the be all and end all. But no, this is just, but they'll punish me if I question. But they'll, that's cognitive dissonance. Incoming information. There's no room for you to even question it. It sends you into a fog, sends you into kind of a abuse amnesia. Oh, well, it wasn't that bad. Oh, things are, that's all cognitive dissonance. I've literally had people describe horrific physical abuse and then tell me it wasn't that bad. Oh, there are other people out there that have it worse. Whoa, let's stop that one right here and now. Any abuse is worse. Your abuse is worse because it happened to you. Don't minimalize it. Do not make excuses for it. You did nothing to deserve it, but the abuser will tell you that you did. Oh my God. What was I saying? I'm sorry. My friend was calling me. I sent him a text earlier and he's now calling me back and I have to call him after this. So anyway, okay. So the definitive guide to helping somebody, you have to be patient. You have to be respectful. Teach by sharing similar examples and experiences. That's what I do. Learn about mind control techniques, which I've just told you about. Establish a relationship and connect with your friend or family member, which will build trust. Now, the problem of it is if they are still with an abuser, the abuser is going to interfere with that. They're going to make sure that you cannot see them or that the abuser is in the room with them. If you're with them, you may not be able to help them. But if they have left the relationship, they are still under that fog. They are still under that cognitive dissonance. That doesn't just go away overnight, guys. That takes time to work on. So, all right. So back to this. All right. What to do first? Start with you. Become well-informed. Do your homework. Formulate a plan. Maybe, work with a therapist. Research cults and coercive control. Don't make the mistake of trying to rationally argue. Rationally arguing with somebody who is in the depth of a coercive control relationship is not going to work because of the cognitive dissonance. Again, you can give them all the correct information, but it doesn't match what the abuser is telling them. Their brain is going to go plop, plop, fizz, fizz, relief it is, blah, 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 and they're not going to remember anything you've said because it's dangerous. It's dangerous to them to confront the abuser or to not agree with the abuser or to consider that the abuser lied to them or anything else. So rational arguments are not going to work, which is why it's so interesting to me that finally people are like realizing that, So in the political realm, it's like, when people are like, well, but I didn't vote for this. Well, I didn't realize they would do this. I didn't realize this would happen with the government. People have been telling you what was going to happen for months, years even, and it wasn't believed because of cognitive dissonance. It does not mean that those people are stupid. They're not. They were under the thrall of cognitive dissonance. Incoming information was not matching what they were being told. But now there's a little space and they're starting to get it. So that's good. So that is what it takes. It takes, oh my goodness, you two, what are you doing? Okay, sorry. Penny is deciding to climb the cat tree. So it takes space. It takes space. There is a book called Combating Cult Mind Control and Freedom of Mind. And this is by the same person, Stephen A. Hassan, PhD. You build rapport and trust. Rebuild the relationship if it's broken. If you were the one to break contact, get back together. Do a sincere amend or apology. Reach out and be warm. Remember the good times. Focus on common values in areas that you both enjoy. Children, pets, music, dancing, fishing, sports, movies. At first, don't talk about the controversial subjects. Avoid the hot topics. Just try to build the rapport. Try to build the trust with positive interactions. Build credibility and sustain positive interactions. Build a long-term relationship based on mutual respect, compassion, and love. Do what you can to remove or minimize media that continually indoctrinate or to only one point of view. So encourage looking at other points of view. There's tons of different news media outlets that are on both sides, or some of them are in the middle. There's a thing called Ground News, which I'm not subsidized by them, but I've seen it and I think it's a good idea. So you can see who's left-leaning, who's right-leaning, who's in the center, and then you read all the articles. You read all the articles. That's what I do. What you can do what you can to remove the ones that only give one point of view. Ask thought-provoking questions while being curious and warm. Be prepared to listen deeply. You will know if you have listened well, if you can repeat back to them what they have said. Be humble. Be open to hearing what they say. So there's going to be a lot of reflective listening involved so that they know they're being heard and you're making sure that you've gotten what they've said correctly. And that's the only way to move forward. And it takes time and it takes patience. It really does. Adopt a general tone of curiosity, be productive, be civil, be kind. Try to connect them with their authentic identity before the extreme beliefs. Remind them of past experiences together. Talk about the connection you guys once had and how you miss it. Don't tell them anything. Help them to make the discoveries on their own. Try to get them to look at reality from many different perspectives because the world is not black and white. It is a plethora of colors and a lot of gray. So it's a really good idea to start looking at different perspectives. Teach them about indoctrination and mind control. Use examples to which they have no attachment. That's the most important thing. Because if you go, well, when your ex said this, that, and the other thing, oh, no. Try to find in vitro actual life things that are going on and make the connection. Use examples of cult leaders with similar qualities. Share feelings and perceptions, not judgments. Use I feel statements. Do not claim to be right. Stick to what your perception is when you're reflecting back to them. Ask a question and then wait for them to think about it and respond. Be patient. You do not need to fill the silence. An abundance of facts will not help. Again, if they have been indoctrinated by a family of origin and they're used to being told what to think, because remember, abusers want to control everything, what you like to eat. I have so many survivors being like, I don't even know what I like to eat anymore. I don't even know what my favorite color is anymore. I don't even know what my favorite hairstyle is anymore. My abuser told me how to dress and how to eat and what to eat and when to eat and, all of this stuff. So, remember, there's a lot of stuff going on. Gentle, and praise them. Really, it's like good work. It's like when I have a session with a client and they're dealing with a lot, coming up with all these epiphanies and they're heavy. I always make sure to end it with going, my God, this was a super heavy session and I'm so proud of you for being willing to confront these mistaken thoughts and mistaken beliefs. That is incredibly brave. And I honor you for doing that. Positive reinforcement. That's what you do. So there is that. Okay. There's different, deprogramming is a myth. That was something that came about in the 70s after all these horrible cults and things like that, or in 80s. So you just gotta work with the cognitive dissonance. You've got to understand that is what is going on. It's not that they are loving the abuse. They're not. None of us like the abuse. We didn't, but we didn't know how to get out. We didn't know what to do. We didn't have the tools. So you just kind of very gently teach the tools and gently confront the mistaken thoughts and the mistaken beliefs. Well, you're telling me this, but this is going on. Can you help me understand how that connects? And a lot of times when I do that with clients, when they've got a lot of cognitive dissonance, we'll just sit in the silence for a long time while their brain just kind of goes, and tries to go, whoa, it takes time, guys. It really does. So, but the payoff is eventually most people get it. Most people understand and leave the abuser. It does take about 7 times on average for them to leave an abuser. For some people, I hate to say it, it's almost like they have to experience critical mass before they'll leave. So it has to happen to them, like blatantly before they go, oh my God, this guy or gal is an abuser. Yeah. And the biggest thing is don't make them wrong. They're not stupid, sweetie. They've just been misinformed. We've been misinformed. My mom and dad trained me to be codependent. There's a reason I dated not great guys when I was in college and as a young adult. We were trained, we were groomed to put up with misinformation, lying, cheating, stealing, gaslighting, etc. So gentle, 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 gentle. So the cognitive dissonance, the amount of misinformation, and if the abuser is still in their life, they're afraid to even get curious. So it's really about helping people get curious. You're telling me this, but this is happening. Help me understand. So yeah, it's gentleness and curiousness, and that's what helps. So okay. All right. I think that has covered cognitive dissonance. A mind trap. It's brainwashing. It keeps us stuck. And it's really easy to fall into. When you hear a lie over and over and over again, just like my mom said with leukemia, I believed it. Why wouldn't I? I had no reason not to believe her. She was my mom. But then it was like, oh, well, guess what? So yeah. So just gentle, gentle, gentle. And when you feel like you're going into the fog, you just got to remind yourself, it's like, hey, I was trained to go in the fog. Let me get curious. What does this really mean? What is this true? Is this not true? And that's why, hitting it head on with somebody else is never going to work, because it's too threatening. So you got to kind of come at it around the sides and be gentle and be curious and be kind and be safe. You want to be a safe person for people leaving abusive relationships. They've had enough of unsafe people. They need safe people to be healing. So there that is. Okay, let's see if there's any questions. Okay. How do I manage my anger as a federal worker? We are being attacked. Okay, so you're not wrong. My friend works in the archives, and he's been furloughed for, what is it? What are we on now? 40 days, 42 days, something stupid. Really dealing with your anger, I would say write and burn letters. That helps because it gets it out. Take action. Taking action always helps. Now, that does not mean go riot. What that means is, who can you get together with? Can you educate the public? Can you get together with other workers that are frustrated? Can you get the ear of a newspaper or media person that was actually going to, be on your side and publicize what federal workers are going through? I mean, but yet ICE is being funded. Anybody else have a problem with that? I sure as hell do. So yeah, and community is huge. So I would say find your community. So something John and I were talking about is there's a very strong lack of understanding of a lot of the things that make this country great. Unions, for example. I understand there's now a problem with black lung issue in West Virginia again because they got rid of OSHA. So why is OSHA important? Because they would make sure that the corporations were not just chewing you up and spitting you out. If you had not read The Jungle, which was about the meatpacking industry in the early part of the 1900s when kids were allowed to work in meatpacking industries, horrific, you should. Upton Sinclair, The Jungle. You should read it. There's reasons why we have, or had until recently, safeguards for the public so that they don't get hurt. Again, a good leader, like a good parent, makes sure the kids are okay, that they're not getting hurt, that they're not being taken advantage of, that they're not being literally chewed up and spit out by corporations. So yeah, it's frustrating. So get together with other coworkers that are feeling the same thing. What can you do? So it's the Buddhist worry chart. Is there a problem? Oh, hell yeah, there is. What can I do about it? Okay, I can get together with community. I can get together with other workers. I can maybe contact the media. I can maybe do education and educate people on what they are losing through this, how it worse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So actions always help. It always makes me feel better when I do something. So for example, donating to the food bank. It's like, okay, you're going to starve kids. Watch this, mother clucker. And I went and I donated and I felt a lot better. Or calling, my senators, Kelly and Gallego, who, by the way, whoop, whoop, Gallego, whoop, whoop. I'm so proud of him because I told him, I said, get out there, get into social media, you get in their face, you educate, you show people what's going on. And the fact that they have not sworn in Adelita Grijalva is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. They're waiting for a person in Tennessee to get a representative spot that they're thinking is going to go to a Republican, so that then her vote won't count, and then they'll swear her in. That is so corrupt. I can't even begin to tell you. They don't want the Epstein files to come to light. Let me tell you something. Those aren't going to go away. And the fact that we have ICE ripping kids away from their adult parents, and we don't know where the kids are. There's no record of where the kids are going. There are literal detention centers specifically for toddlers, for children. This should horrify you. And the fact that we have a suspected pedophile as a president and kids are going missing, I'm not okay with that. I'm not comfortable with that. What's going on? Again, forensic accounting needs to happen. So you get involved. You get involved with people that will help you do an action that's going to help. Or you educate, that kind of thing. So that is really, and you find community. That is the biggest thing. The funniest thing is that I've noticed people have been a lot more friendly in the last month or two. It's like they're actually talking again. They're actually, my next door neighbor is a hardcore Republican. I am clearly a liberal. He and I have been talking. He wants to come over. He's going to have Thanksgiving with us. That hasn't happened in a while. So yeah, things are going the right direction, but we need to keep out there. We need to keep talking. We need to keep educating, and we need to have community. We need to get together with other like-minded people and figure out what we can do in an action to make things better. So that's my suggestion. So there is that. Write and burn letters, get a punching bag. I love working out on the punching bag because it keeps me from killing people. So yeah, that's a good thing. So yeah, and then you do what you can, because at the end of the day, it's like, did I do what I could? Yes. Yes, I have. And I have a clean conscience. So that's really what's important. So, all right, my loves, next week, I think I want to talk more about, the aftermath of leaving. I want to talk about, you're still going to be in the fog. You're still going to have, weird thoughts. You're going to be missing that person. So I want to talk about why and what is going on with your brain, and why it's important to get a good trauma therapist, not somebody who's trauma informed. That drives me crazy. It's like, I want you to get with somebody who knows their a-hole from a hole in the ground, who has possibly been there, done that. That's the best. Because when somebody's been there, done that, oh man, we get it. We effing get it. I have heard some therapists talk, and I'm just like, y'all have never been abused, have you? Because they say things that I'm just like, leave my profession now. Pisses me off. Anyway, so we're going to talk more about the aftermath. We're going to talk about the kids. We're going to talk about parental alienation, the divorce decrees, all of that stuff, what your brain is doing, what your body is doing. Body keeps score. We're going to cover the whole thing. So the aftermath, that's what we're going to talk about. All right, guys, you guys be good. And if you have topics that you want me to cover that I have not covered recently, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Or you can DM me, DM me, whatever that is, on Facebook. You can do that. And there that is. All right. You guys have a wonderful day. Go take care of yourselves. Drink plenty of water. Get some exercise. And I will see you next Sunday. Bye.